What's going on, guys? In today's video, we will be discussing the keys to speed development. Now, this is an extremely important topic because speed plays such an important role when it comes to performance. Doesn't matter what sport you play, whether you're a track star, a football player outrunning defenders, a basketball player on a fast break, speed is going to be that X factor, and the faster you are, the more of an advantage you're going to have. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So the first key we're going to look at are fast twitch muscle fibers. Now, muscle fibers in our body are classified into two main groups: type 1, which is slow twitch, and type 2, which is fast twitch. Type 2 fibers are actually broken down even further than that, but I'm going to cover that in a different video. So why these fast twitch type 2 muscle fibers are an absolute key is because they're involved in any movement that requires quick, explosive movement and the rapid development of power. So the quicker our body can recruit these type 2 muscle fibers, the more power we're going to be able to produce and the faster we're going to be able to sprint. So how do we train these fast twitch muscle fibers? Well, there's a number of ways. There's heavy lifting, lightweight lifting with fast acceleration, plyometrics, Olympic lifting, and let's not forget, sprinting. The second key we're going to cover is stride. Now, what exactly is the stride? Well, it's basically what your legs are doing when you run. And this can be broken down into two main phases. Phase 1 is the support phase. This is where the foot touches down and takes off. It goes from a ground contact into a mid stance and then takes off. Whereas phase 2 is the flight phase. This is where it's not supported, the feet are not in contact with the ground. And so why is this so important? Because your stride technique will directly impact your maximum velocity. So in order to understand how to optimize our stride to improve our sprinting ability, we have to break this down even further. There are two main components that influence a stride, and that is your stride rate and the stride length. Stride length is essentially just the distance covered in one stride. Now, this doesn't automatically mean that a greater length means better. It's relative to your body height and your leg length. If you try to just lengthen out your stride as long as possible and you're overstepping, it will actually be worse for you because you're not going to be able to efficiently push off of the ground and propel yourself forward. Let's take a look at Usain Bolt, for example. He's the greatest sprinter that this world has ever seen. He has some extremely long legs. He's 6'5". 9 times out of 10, he's the tallest guy on the track, and he has just the most ideal body type for sprinting. But on the other hand, Christian Coleman, who is only 5'9" and his legs aren't nearly as long, is also an elite sprinter. He's the 60-meter world record holder. So how is this short guy also such a great sprinter? Well, because he has an optimal stride length for his size. So just by looking at those two guys, we can see that it doesn't matter if you're super tall or a lot shorter, you can optimize your stride, especially your stride length, to your advantage and still be elite. Now, what are some ways that we can train our stride length? Resisted sprints. Whether it's uphill sprints, sled sprints, parachute sprints, you're attaching different weights to you, just make sure that if you are attaching external resistance to you, be sure to not let that weight exceed 10% of your body weight, as it can force you to overstep, which is going to alter your stride length for the worse. Now let's talk about stride rate. Also known as stride frequency, it is essentially the number of strides in a given amount of time. This also is going to vary from person to person, but it is a lot more trainable than stride length. Now, so how do we improve our stride rate? Sprint assisted training. You want to run at an increased linear speed, straight line speed, which is going to help decrease the amount of time between each stride. The most optimal way to practice assisted sprints is to have somebody pull you with a band or a cord. That extra pull is going to force you to take more steps and is going to improve your stride rate. Another option is using a mechanical device to tow you along. Now, this is probably a lot more expensive, but here is a video of Marcel Jacobs using an overspeed technique, and he just won gold at the last year Olympics, so it definitely helped him out. Another option is downhill running. Why I like this option so much is because it's absolutely free and doesn't require anybody's assistance. Now, a lot of people talk trash about downhill runs, saying it's bad for your knees, it's going to increase your risk of injury, destroy your joints. But the truth is, you do anything with bad form, it's going to increase your risk of injury. So that being said, You have to do these downhill runs with good form and know how to do them correctly. The biggest issue with downhill runs that can lead to injury is using a slope that just has way too much incline. The optimal slope should be about 3 to 7 degrees, and you should only run about 30 to 50 meters. Another big issue is going way too fast down the hill. You don't want to go so fast to the point where your stride rate is beyond your capability, your feet are landing so far in front of you, and your heels are dropping. That is going to lead to injury. You want to make sure to land and take off on the ball of your foot and that your foot is planting directly beneath your hips. You do that correctly, then you can get the benefit of downhill running. Now, the last key we're going to cover is form. Now, this is also super important because you can be the most powerful, strongest, have all the fast twitch muscle fibers, but if your form is all jacked up, then you're not going to be able to sprint as fast as you should be. And if you're already fast but have some bad form, fixing your form can instantly make you faster. Your form when sprinting is everything from the head to the trunk to the arms to the way the legs are turning over. Let's take a look at the man Usain Bolt and check his form out. His head is controlled, it's not swaying side to side. His body is relaxed, his hands are not going higher than his shoulders. They're kept at his armpit level, pumping nice and aggressively, and they're not crossing the midline of his body. His legs turning over very forcefully, taking off and landing on the ball of his foot, landing directly under his hips with his knees up, toes up, and really reacting forcefully off of the ground. There are so many things that you can do to improve your form, so this alone is going to be a video of its own. But just a brief overview, you can do mechanic drills like A skips, B skips, high knees. These are going to help your posture and help to increase your leg turnover rate. You can do some arm action drills. These are going to improve the explosive arm action and build that motor control. And you can do form running. This is running at about 60 to 70% of your max speed and really emphasizing that correct running form. Well, there you have it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this video. As always, be sure to leave a thumbs up and share it with everybody else you think can benefit. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section down below and let me know what topics you want me to cover in the future. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm going to see you guys soon.